Welcome to another episode of the Harvey Hour. My name is Nathan Harvey. It is Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, right here on YouTube. We are live. What a crazy weekend indeed. It's going to be a pretty wild one this weekend, but last night was absolutely insane. The Raiders choked once again. This is their fourth big choke of the season. And I uploaded that clip about me saying that Baker Mayfield was unbelievably lucky, and this was the worst thing that could have possibly happened, was Baker Mayfield having a tremendous comeback victory against the Raiders. There's a lot of problems that went on, and we're going to break it down right now, so let's get into it. Baker Mayfield led a 98-yard drive, touchdown drive, game-winning touchdown drive last night at home against the Las Vegas Raiders. Now just a couple facts here before we get into it and break it down. Going to Thursday, teams were 70-2 on the season when leading by 13 points or more in the final 5 minutes. The Raiders were up, 16-3 with about 4 minutes left in the game. Baker Mayfield leads two game-winning touchdown drives and go-ahead touchdown drive. It was insane, and actually, let's get into it now. I believe I have the clip up here. Let's see. So this is what happens. They punt on 4th and 1, which is absolutely weird. You want to try to seal the game, but nope. You're going to give it right back to them. So let's keep this going. They get the ball, and here we go. Baker Mayfield, first shot, boom, on the outside. Beautiful throw. After two 15-yard penalties, Baker Mayfield sends this 30-yard bomb. It was a phenomenal throw. The next play, going, short little 9-yard route. It's insane. And then he goes, looking, fires it off, gets a first down, and then the saving play was this one right here. A beautiful touchdown throw to Van Jefferson to seal the game. And this was the Rams locker room after the game.
Hey, great job, man. Unbelievable. So many guys that I'm going to be able to recognize. All right, Taylor Rapp closing it out. So many big-time stops defensively. Van Jefferson, Ben Skoranek making plays. Yep. All right, but to be able to come in here 10 minutes ago and help lead us to a victory. See you guys on Monday. Baker Mayfield.
Then Baker Mayfield just goes completely off because he's got a lot of energy. I will admit, Baker Mayfield is one of the most energetic people on the football field. So him going off like that is honestly not surprising at all. But there's a lot of context that I need to break down real quick. The first thing, the Raiders are horrible in passing defense. They are currently ranked 30th in passing defense. Not tremendously shocking, because their defense has been a big part of the problem. Except in this game, it was their offense that was most of the problem. The Raiders did not run it, or they did not pass it a lot. They mostly ran the ball. They had 22 carries or 38 carries, for 165 yards. They only threw it 20 times. And that's a problem. Whoever's calling the offensive plays had a serious problem, because Davante Adams was smoking Jalen Ramsey most of the game. Though I believe it was one of the first passes was a beautiful one-handed grab by Davante Adams. A one-on-one against Jalen Ramsey. Jalen Ramsey actually pass interfered on that pass. It's crazy. There was another great burn that Davante Adams had in that game where he was up against Jalen Ramsey, and Jalen Ramsey just got beat. The number one cornerback in the game got beat by Davante Adams, supposedly the number one quarterback. I didn't really believe that. They said last year's the number one cornerback. I don't think that was true. I think J.C. Jackson was a better cover corner, just a better cornerback all around. I think he had more interceptions than Jalen Ramsey. Lower passer rating, I believe, when thrown at. This year, obviously not so much. J.C. Jackson's hurt, didn't play well when he was in there. So another thing I want to say is that the Baker Mayfield and Sean McVay, this could work. I'm not saying that Baker Mayfield will be the solution to the Rams' problems, but with Matt Stafford out, he could definitely win a couple more games. Because Sean McVay and Baker Mayfield have that same type of energy, which is pretty. It's I guess it's important because you have two hotheads that can clash. They could come together, create some good ideas, and this game was impressive. The Rams coming up play the Packers, Broncos, Chargers, and Seahawks. They could win probably 2 or 3 of those games, honestly. The first thing was I was surprised about how well the offensive line held up for Baker. They started with John Wolford for one drive. They ran it, I believe, 3 straight times. I don't even think he passed the ball once before they punted, brought Baker Mayfield in. And Baker Mayfield from the jump was making really, really good passes. Towards the end of the first half, into the second half, it was a little bit shaky, a little bit, not on target, but the impressive factor of this was about 56 hours ago, probably less than that, Baker Mayfield was on a whole different team, in a whole different city, on the whole other part of the United States. He comes over with the playbook on the plane trying to learn a brand new system, comes back and spends the next 48 hours, 50 hours trying to learn a whole new offense, comes into the game, on the second drive for the Rams, comes in, starts making amazing throws, accurate throws, putting some zip on the ball. Like, this is the Baker Mayfield going into this year I was hoping to see, because I knew he actually had this talent. And then when he comes to Carolina and everything falls apart, it's not, it's not great. And that's why I sort of fell off on the Baker Mayfield bandwagon, was because I thought going into this year it'd be really good for Baker. Brand new team, brand new system, clear headspace. And in that first game, we kind of saw glimpses of what he could be, like we saw in this game against the Raiders. We saw, especially in the fourth quarter, he's clutch, he's accurate with the ball, brought them back when they were behind. And then it just so happens and it's funny, the defense couldn't hold up. Brian Burns has that roughing the passer, and then technically it should have been intentional grounding on Jacoby Brissett. It turns out not to be that way. Refs decided to pick up the flag, which was wrong. Cade York gets like a 58-yard field goal to win the game. So, under that regard, I saw stuff in Baker Mayfield that he threw for like 158 yards in the fourth quarter, something crazy like that against the Browns in week 1. And then we saw similar things in this game against the Raiders. In the first half, it wasn't great. He was completing in the first 6 drives, he was completing just under 50% of his throws. But then in the final 2 drives, he goes 15 of 20 for 141 yards and 1 touchdown. And that touchdown was a beauty to Van Jefferson. An absolute beauty. And another thing about this game was that Baker Mayfield is 0-22 in his career as a starting quarterback when trailing by 13 or more points. He's 2-1 when he comes off the bench. That is crazy. It was in his NFL debut and in his Rams debut, where he comes off the bench, comes back from 13 or more, and wins the game. So Baker Mayfield has a little bit of an aspect to him, but it's just the consistency that I've always had a problem with. Because Baker Mayfield can play very well, and we saw it last night. He played extremely well, and it was extremely clutch what he did. The defense stepped up. The defense of the Rams did not look great through most of this game. And early on, like I said, Jalen Ramsey was getting cooked most of the game. But then when it mattered, the defense made some stops. Baker Mayfield did his best Tom Brady impression, came back from 16-3 to win 17-16. We saw that Monday night against the Saints. Brady did that. And he actually did it a couple weeks ago against the Rams. And then Baker Mayfield comes in, leads the game-winning drive, leads the 1 touchdown drive. Defense gets the stop, and then that fourth one where the Raiders just decided not to go for it for some reason. You're trying to seal this game away. The Rams had no timeouts at that time. They used it. For some reason, they used the timeout like 3 minutes. I guess it worked, but they used it like the 3:15 mark or something like that. And then, you have a minute 50 something left. It's 4th and 1. You don't even trust your offense to get a single yard to seal the game for you guys. You punt it away. It was a beautiful punt all the way down to the 2-yard line. Baker Mayfield just goes up, gets pretty lucky at 30 yards of penalty. That definitely helped him out, and he actually got sacked on one of those plays. It was a 1st and 10. He got sacked, but there was a unsportsmanlike conduct because he knocked the ball out of Baker Mayfield's hands. So that helped him. But 30 yards free, basically, because of penalties. It helped him, but he made the throws when he needed to. He was accurate when it mattered. He made those two passes to Van Jefferson and to a guy's last name that I have trouble pronouncing. It was very, very impressive. In that Thursday, in the Monday night game that Brady had, he went 14 of 19, 118 yards, 2 touchdowns, and like I said, Baker Mayfield had 1 more completion, 15 of 20, 141 yards, and 1 touchdown. It was incredible. The Raiders were 2 games out of playoff contention. That's crazy. They start off, 1-6, something crazy like that. They now basically have a 0% chance to make the playoffs. They had a chance. It was a very low chance. But with the way the Chargers have been choking lately, and the AFC is, at least at the bottom, sort of like in the hunt, it's pretty weak. The Raiders had a serious chance to actually make the playoffs, but after this, it's a no-go. The Raiders have basically no chance, and it's sad. These are, and I saw it on Twitter. This is one of the games where they actually scream for Josh McDaniels to get fired, and I can completely understand that. The game plan was not great. It sort of was like the Chiefs. The Chiefs did win by I think 15 points. But in the second half, the Chiefs did not come out and play offense. They kind of just laid back and, let the game go whichever way it was going to go because they were up by, I guess, enough. But Baker Mayfield right now, he's starting next week. It's going to be very, very impressive to see how he does up against Green Bay. And let's see. Baker Mayfield against Green Bay. I'll bring up those stats real quick. Let's see if he's played one game against Green Bay. He was 21 of 36, 222 yards, 2 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. That's not a good stat line, the 4 interceptions. And they ended up losing 24-22. Oh, I remember that game. Yeah, it was. This didn't go to overtime. It didn't go to overtime. It's just Browns couldn't seal the deal. So I'm not buying fully into this. I said this in my instant reaction. I'm not buying fully into Baker Mayfield. I'm not buying into where he's going to go because I need to see this consistently. If he can go out, complete 64% of his throws. He completed, 63% yesterday. If he can go out, complete 64% of his throws, throw for another 240, 230, 2 touchdowns, no picks in this Green Bay game, I'll be like, okay. Something, Baker Mayfield might be heating up. And then if he finishes the season out, because Matt Stafford's still in IR, I think he might come back in week 17, I believe. But let's say he finishes out the whole year. Let's say he plays the next 3 games, and he goes out, plays against Green Bay, plays against Denver, plays against the Chargers, and plays particularly well. I'll be like, okay, maybe Baker Mayfield has found a home. Because Matt Stafford's getting up there in age. Aaron Donald's looking to retire. Sean McVay may not want to be there. But right now, Baker Mayfield might have found a home in Los Angeles. But I got to see consistency. And through most of Baker Mayfield's career, he hasn't been consistently good. Last night, I was rooting for him. Even though I said he got unbelievably lucky. I love an NFL storyline. And this was a beautiful NFL story. 48 hours. He said in his post-game interview on Thursday Night Football, Amazon Prime, how he booked a ticket to Los Angeles before the waiver wire. He just took a gamble. He turned out to be right. But 48 hours. You go from Carolina to Los Angeles, learning a brand new offense, coming in there, winning the game, 2 amazing drives. You start off the game pretty good. Making a couple nice throws, completing a couple first downs. I'm impressed. I was rooting for Baker Mayfield because like I said, I love a storyline. And this was absolutely a beautiful story. I don't know what else to say about that because it's just, it's an amazing story. Let's get on to the next topic. We're talking about Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. Tom Brady's going back to San Francisco. He's visiting San Francisco for the first time since 2016. And he's playing up against a very, very good San Francisco 49ers defense. Most of the year, the 49ers defense has been extremely good. There's been a couple games, like against the Chiefs, where they just could not get a stop, and Jimmy G was forced to be in a shootout, and Jimmy G just doesn't do well in shootouts because that's not his MO. Brady is 2-1 in his career against the 49ers. He played him in 2005, 2016, and 2012. That's a weird way I did that out of order, but in that 2016 game, which was the last game that he played him, they won 30-17, and I believe Colin Kaepernick did not have a great game. He had 206, 2 touchdowns. Nothing tremendous. Brady, on the other hand, 280 yards, 4 touchdowns. In large part thanks to the run game. LeGarrette Blount, 124 yards. That's going to be very interesting to see because the Buccaneers now have run the ball slightly better. It hasn't been much better. It's been slightly better. And I think right now, with the way the 49ers defense is playing, they will win. I think this is out of the question. Even me, who has picked Brady not a lot this year, but I have picked Brady a lot over the years, I simply do not believe the Bucs even have a slight chance to win this game, even with Brock Purdy as their quarterback, Mr. Irrelevant, the last pick in this past year's draft. The Bucs are still 32nd in running. They have now moved from 31st in yards per attempt back down to 32nd. There was a chance at that Seahawks game where they got boosted up a little bit, but they dropped back down to 32nd. Now they're 32nd across the board, minus attempts. One team has more rushing attempts than they do, or fewer attempts than they do, I should say. The saving grace here is that the Buccaneers, when teams get into the red zone, that Bucs defense generally gives up field goals rather than touchdowns. That's the saving grace here. And if you could do that, if you could keep making them go 3 points, 3 points, 3 points, instead of 7, 7, 7, Brady can maybe orchestrate something late in the game, like he did against the Saints, like he did against the Rams, to hopefully come back and win the game. But in this case, with the 49ers defense just too good, they are incredibly good this year. I do not see anywhere near the possibility of the Buccaneers coming out and winning this game. I'm surprised the point spread's only 3.5. That means on a neutral field, the 49ers would only be favored by a half point. That shocks me. That absolutely shocks me. And I think that's in large part due to the fact that Jimmy G's not there. If Jimmy G was there, I guarantee you this would probably be a touchdown game in favor of the 49ers. But Brock Purdy looked really good last week against the Dolphins defense, which has had some flashes in it, but I don't think is all of that. You know, week one, they showed themselves as a pretty decent defense, but it was against a Patriots offense that I knew from the start was going to be horrible. The offensive line, I think Melvin Ingram beat Trent Brown basically the entire day, forced a strip sack that I think led to a fumble recovery touchdown. I don't see a lot of great things from this Buccaneers team going forward, really. This might be, I think they'll probably make the playoffs, but that's not saying much in the NFC South. That really isn't. I think this 49ers team is really good, and Kyle Shanahan said that there is a chance, but it's not a very likely chance. Jimmy G does come back for the playoffs, so Super Bowl contention for the 49ers may be in the air, but this Bucs team, I could definitely see. I understand Brady becomes a whole different animal in the playoffs usually, but when it comes to this team, that by now I thought they'd get something going. And they need to come back almost every single game, or they lose to the Browns, or as I call them, the Cleveland Clowns. This team does not look great. This team does not look good whatsoever. And I'm really gonna pick. I'm gonna pick the 49ers here. I do not think the Bucs can overcome this 49ers defense, because the way Tom Brady and this offense has been playing has been pretty pitiful. The defense has some flashes where it's like, oh, that's a really good defense. Like how they played up against the Cowboys in week 1. But then they had some games where it's like they give up tremendous amounts of yards, but then they sort of make up for it when it comes to in the red zone, where they generally, like I said, give up 3 instead of 7, which is very, very key when you have the greatest quarterback of all time. You know, he could sort of orchestrate these games and potentially have a comeback win. In this case, and we're going to get into my Harvey hot hand pretty soon, I do not see anywhere near of a shot of the 49ers losing this game, even with Brock Purdy as their quarterback. And then the internet will explode. Brock Purdy beat Tom Brady. All this, and I mean, it depends on how it's going to go. The way I have it going, yes, that it would definitely be viable for the internet to explode on Brady like this. But where's the light at the end of the tunnel? I don't see it. Let's get into the third topic here. We're flying by the show. Show might be over in like 45 minutes. I want to talk about the Red Sox real quick, because the Padres did sign what I think is the best shortstop in the game right now, Xander Bogaerts, on an 11-year, $280 million contract. The I was gonna say the Patriots. The Red Sox have lowballed a lot of their free agents. It looks like JD Martinez is not going to come back. They have a contract, Rafael Devers, that seems to be slipping as the days go on. They gave up Christian Vasquez last year to the Astros, who went out and won the World Series. With the way the Red Sox just are not being able to, or they're not spending money in the ways they need to. They picked up a tremendous outfielder, a high quality outfielder, a very sought after outfielder. I think it was like 5 years, $90 million. They don't really need outfield. Outfield was not their not their place, not a hole to fill really, because they have Verdugo, they have Kike, and they have who else they could put there? They used to have JBJ, but they don't anymore. They have Ref Schneider that they could put in there. They re-signed him recently. They picked up Trevor Story last year. Trevor Story couldn't stay healthy. I think he had like 7 homers in 6 days or something like that, which was crazy. 6 games. It looks like Dalbec might be traded away. JBJ was horrible. I said as soon as they went out and traded Renfroe for JBJ, first of all, that was a horrible trade. And I just knew from the start that JBJ's not a very good baseball player. He's a great defensive player, but when it comes to overall hitting, on base percentage, strikeout, he's just not very good. Very, very low batting average. Not a great player. And just getting for his defense, your offense was horrible this year compared to last year where you were hitting bombs thanks to Kyle Schwarber, who, first of all, I think he had like over 40 home runs this year. Shouldn't have given him up. I think Hunter Renfroe had 30 home runs this year. Shouldn't have given him up. And now you let Xander Bogaerts go. 11 years, $280 million. Now you're probably looking down the barrel of Rafael Devers, who might get something like 10 years, $300 million. Are you going to be able to spend it on him? Because supposedly Rafael Devers and Xander Bogaerts, they've been, obviously they're very, very close friends, but Rafael Devers was really, really hoping that Xander Bogaerts does stay with the Red Sox. Just so happens the Red Sox lowballed him. Padres went out after him, signed Xander Bogaerts, who, like I've been saying, best shortstop in the game. I seriously believe that. I think he's better than Trey Turner. I think he has a higher batting average than Trey Turner. His defense could use some work, though. He's not great when it comes to errors. He's not amazing, but I still think when it comes to his offensive prowess, his clutchness, there's not many shortstops better than Xander Bogaerts. He won, I believe, 2 World Series with them back in 2013 and 2018. Was a key part in that World Series as well. Are they going to go into rebuild mode after losing Xander? I'm going to say yes. Last year was an abomination. And the way the Red Sox are going, the way I'm taking a look at this team, next year is going to be pretty ugly. And they have a lot of talent still on this team. They have Chris Sale, who broke his hand and then came back and fell off he had an injury, came back, and I was actually at the Yankee game where he broke his pinky finger. Then when that's healing, he goes off, falls off a bike, gets hurt again, out for the year. He's played like 13 games in like 4 years. Like, come on, Chris Sale. Your pitching has been a serious hole when it comes to this team, and they're not really going out and getting amazing pitchers. They have some still in free agency that they might need to sign. They're not really going out and getting a lot of talent. I don't know what it is. I don't know what the Red Sox are going to need to do to change this. Maybe you need to get rid of your GM. Maybe. Alex Cora still has high hopes. There's a lot of holes you need to fill. Kike was hurt all year. He didn't play well when he was in there. Rafael Devers, he was clutching a lot of moments in this game, batting almost 300. He's the guy you got to bring back. Him and Xander should have brought back. JD Martinez was out the door. Everyone in Boston believed that JD was out the door. No way they were bringing him back. Verdugo was pretty good most of the year. Batted 280. Started off a little bit slow, but over the course of the year, he did really, really well. Trevor Story started off decently. Had a really big hot streak. End of the year, batting 230. So, not great for Trevor Story. Bobby Dahlbeck, he's not great. You put Jarren Duran in there in the outfield. It was the worst mistake ever. He gave up a inside the park grand slam. How many of those are there in MLB history? Inside the park grand slam. It's bad. Refsnyder they signed. He's aging though, so he's not going to be amazing. You picked up Eric Hosmer, who's not a bad pickup at all. You don't have a lot of talent on this team. You got rid of Franchy Cordero. The way I'm looking at it, I don't like this team at all. This team is not great, and you could definitely see them probably at the bottom of the AL East again because the Baltimore Orioles picked it up. The Rays, they've been like a 90-win team for the past 4 years. The Blue Jays have been really, really good. And then the Yankees just signed Judge to a massive deal. So, what was it? I think it's what? I forget the actual. It's like $360 million over the course of, I think, 10 years? 11 years? So, actually, I think it's a 9-year deal. Yeah, it's 9 years, $360 million. Which I was wrong. I thought he'd go to the Giants. But looks like the Yankees got him back. So the Yankees should be good again because they got back Rizzo. They got Judge back. Team's looking really good. So Red Sox going to rebuild mode. If they don't, they should because this team is going nowhere. Pitching's their problem. They're not going out and making a lot of moves. Carrera's still out there. You might want to pick him up. I just don't see it. I don't see it. The Red Sox are screwed. But coming up, I will be making my Week 14 picks, and I have my Harvey Hot Hand right after the break.
Introducing video podcasts on Spotify.
Transform your storytelling into a show everyone can watch
or listen to.
Easily upload your video through Anchor, Spotify's free podcast creation tool.
So whether you're showing off a new recipe,
interviewing an exclusive guest,
or uncovering the next mystery,
you can now reach a whole new audience with Spotify.
Podcasting just became more than audio.
Create with Anchor, watch on Spotify.
You have a lot to say. Maybe you've thought, I should start a podcast. Meet Anchor, the easiest way to make a podcast ever. It's a powerful mobile app and web tool that lets you record a podcast anywhere and distribute it everywhere. It's great whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out. And it's 100% free. You can record your show straight into Anchor on your phone, iPad, or the web, using any mic you want. Record alone or with friends or co-hosts anywhere in the world. You can add background music and transitions, and your listeners can send you voice messages that you can incorporate right into your next episode. If you want to produce your show using another app, you can upload your own audio directly from web or mobile, and still take advantage of Anchor's totally free podcast hosting. Once your podcast is ready to publish, Anchor can automatically distribute it to every major podcast platform. That includes Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify, so your listeners can hear your show wherever they want. And on the web, you can see detailed analytics about how people are listening. Plus, you'll get a great-looking profile page where anyone can listen to your podcast or subscribe to it. And if you want to ask your audience to support your work, Anchor makes it easy to collect monthly payments from the people who love your podcast and want to see it grow. You really don't need a recording studio, expensive equipment, or a bunch of technical knowledge to deal with a podcast feed. Just get started and join the diverse community of podcasters already on Anchor. We can't wait to hear your podcast.
Welcome back to the Harvey Hour. My name is Nathan Harvey. Let's get into my Week 14 picks. I actually took a massive L this week, picking the Raiders to win this game. So, not starting off too hot. And usually when I don't start off with a win, whether it be on the spread or in the win-loss column, I usually don't do that well. But let's break it down right now. First game, Raiders at Steelers. Steelers favored -2. Lamar will be out. He's week to week, apparently. Week to week. So they have Tyler Huntley in as the starting quarterback. I'm going to take the Steelers here at -2. Kenny Pick'em off has been Kenny Pick'em apart for the past couple weeks. He is currently, he has the second longest streak when it comes to pass attempts without an interception. I'll take Kenny Pickett to win here and cover. That Steelers defense is coming alive. I don't think Tyler Huntley can make the magic that Lamar had when he was playing. So Steelers win and cover -2. Next one, The Lions at a 5-7 Lions team is favored at home against the Vikings. What are we coming to right now? I'm going to take the Vikings +2. I know. The Lions throughout most of this year has had a very, very explosive offense. I just think the way Dalvin Cook, Justin Jefferson, and Adam Thielen will play, I think this will be an incredibly high-scoring game. But I do think Captain Kirk will pull it out, get the win, and the upset on the road, Vikings win and cover the +2. The next one. Treylon Burks got hurt in the last game, which means that Ryan Tannehill does not have many weapons. The saving grace is Derrick Henry's on your team. Oh, but if we look a little bit deeper, Derrick Henry's not been performing very well this year. So, I'm going to take Trevor Lawrence. I'm going to take that offense because right now, the Tennessee Titans are 3rd in rushing defense. So that's something. Etienne, I believe, is coming back this week. However, they are 31st in passing defense. The Jaguars are 14th in rushing defense, 30th in passing defense, but the Titans don't have their main weapon at receiver, Treylon Burks, so I'll take the Jaguars to win and upset the Titans. The next one, Eagles at Giants, -7 for the Eagles. This is obvious. Giants aren't looking good. Eagles have the number 1 defense in the league right now, especially passing defense. Eagles look really good. They're 11-1. I don't even need to explain this anymore. Giants need help. Giants are slipping. They've been slipping for several weeks. They were 6-1. Now I believe they're 7-5-1 or 7-4-1 because they tied with the Washington Commanders. I will take Eagles -7 cover and win. Next one. Jets at Bills. Mike White's 3rd consecutive start. Will Zach Wilson even dress for this game? I don't know. That's going to be a big question mark. But I will take the Jets to cover the 10-point spread, but the Bills do get the win. Mike White has had a little bit of magic to him, but last week it did not look really good. He didn't even look good. He looked pretty bad. This Bills defense looks really, really, really good. Really good. Against the Patriots, who maybe it's the Patriots offensive line, but maybe it's this defense coming alive again. We saw it in week 1, but it could have been the Rams offensive line. I think this defense will cause some disruptions for Mike White. I think the Jets will cover this. I think this could be a 3-point win for the Bills, but the Bills do get the win. The next one. What I call the Cleveland Clowns at the Cincinnati Bengals. Joe Burrow's 0-5 when it's come to playing Kevin Stefanski and the Browns. I'm gonna take Joe Burrow getting his first win here against the Browns, strictly because I think Deshaun Watson will still have some rust to him. The Browns did not score an offensive touchdown last week against the Texans, and they crushed them because the Texans are a not competent team. The Bengals are a competent team. Their offense is getting going. Joe Mixon is coming back. T. Higgins is coming back. Jamar Chase is there. I'm taking the Bengals to win here. -5.5 gets the win. I think it'll be somewhat close, but I do think the Bengals will cover and win this game. The next one. My rule of thumb has been recently, don't pick against don't pick against the high spread favorite when it comes to picking the point spread. But in this case, what I saw last week against the Cleveland Clowns when it comes to the Texans was horrible. And now with a better defense in the Dallas Cowboys, a better offense than what the Browns have right now, this might be a 30-point win. The Cowboys last week against the Colts, they went into the fourth quarter up 19 to, I believe, 10. And then they scored 33 points in the fourth quarter. This defense is tremendous this year. Tremendous. I will take the Cowboys to win and crush the Houston Texans. 17.5 points spread. I think they cover, and they get the win. Here's a funny little tip when it comes to the Denver Broncos. Their offense has looked horrible. Doesn't even describe how bad their offense has looked. However, they have yet to get absolutely blown out. The most they've lost this year was 9 points. 9. and that was against the Las Vegas Raiders. Albeit they haven't played amazing teams. However, they've kept the games within one score generally. They've had that one blowout win. Otherwise, every other game, I guess against the Panthers as well. That was third. So I guess they have 2 blowouts, or one that I call a blowout. The other one's not really a blowout because it's just above one score. But I will take the Broncos to cover, but the Chiefs do get the win. This is a 9-point spread. The Broncos defense is really, really good. But their offense is pitiful. Pitiful. Russell Wilson looks like a bottom 10 quarterback, probably even a bottom 5 quarterback. It's bad. But I think the Broncos have a shot at keeping the game close. This is going to be pretty low scoring. The Chiefs do get the win, but the Broncos cover. Next one, we talked about this. I think the 49ers are going to win. I don't even need to cover that. The next one, Panthers at Seahawks. Seahawks cover. There's a little bit of a problem here. Kenneth Walker's hurt. It's going to be all up to Geno Smith against a Panthers defense that has come alive. I think this coaching that Steve Wilkes is doing for this Panthers defense, I think it might save his job. I think he might be in contention for the Panthers head coaching job next year. But I think the Seahawks, with DK Metcalf, with Tyler Lockett, I believe DJ Dallas is going to be the running back 1. I just think the Seahawks are going to be able to win this game. I think they'll try to play time of possession. I don't think there's going to be a high-scoring game. I think they're going to play TOP. And I'm going to take the Seahawks to win and cover. -4 points, but Seahawks get the win. Sunday Night Football. Miami Dolphins at the Los Angeles Chargers. Chargers get the upset win here at home. I don't feel great about this pick. This pick is probably going to be the one where I'm going to be like, I probably should have picked the Chargers to win this game. Because usually in Charger victories, it's all up to Justin Herbert to have a come-from-behind win and have just a tremendous performance. Tua, I didn't say Tua got exposed when it came to last week, but I just think the Chargers might get something going. I think they might create more pressure than they have most of the year. I think they'll have a shot at winning this game. It could be a 1-point game, could be a 2-point game, but I think the Chargers are going to pull it out here and get the win. I think this could be another one of Justin Herbert's great moments, and it's Tua versus Justin Herbert. They were in the same draft class. I believe from the start that Justin Herbert was the better quarterback than Tua, and 5 of 5 executives that were interviewed by a Miami, I believe, newspaper, 5 out of 5 prominent NFL figures said that Justin Herbert, that they would start a franchise with Justin Herbert rather than Tua Tagovailoa. So I'll take the Chargers to win here. And then Monday Night Football, Patriots at Cardinals. I don't think Call of Duty Kyler will be able to pull it out on Monday Night Football. I think about it. The Cardinals' passing defense is not really that good. It's not very good at all. They are currently ranked, they're a 4-8 team. They are currently ranked 24th in passing defense. It's just a question mark of how is Belichick going to be able to stop Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins? The reason I say Kyler Murray is because when it comes to mobile quarterbacks that can get outside the pocket, get first downs with their legs, they're not a pocket passer. They're not just going to swing it out and throw a ball. They're actually going to swing out and run for it. Belichick does not do really well with those teams, or those players, I guess I should say. Lamar Jackson, Justin Fields, Josh Allen a little bit there. He had a problem with Cam Newton. There's a little bit of question mark there. But Belichick does usually take away your number one threat. And is that threat going to be Kyler Murray in the pocket? Or rather when he tries to get out of the pocket? Or is it going to be more so DeAndre Hopkins in the passing defense? We'll see. If Jonathan Jones is single covered against DeAndre Hopkins, the Cardinals will win this game. If they stick to man all game, or at least they don't double DeAndre Hopkins, the Cardinals will win this game. Simple as that. But with all that being said, I think the Patriots come out, pull it out here, close win, probably a field goal. Mac Jones against a pretty bad passing defense, like we saw against the Vikings on Thanksgiving night. 384 yards, I believe. He looks really good. This passing offense has some problems, though. The entire offense has problems. The defensive coordinator for the Cardinals even said, he even called out the Patriots offense saying, well, the way they're playing screen passes, short passes, little swings out to the running back. It's like a defensive coordinator is calling offensive plays. You're damn right, because that's the way it is. The offense is in shambles. The offensive line, I swear, if I see another Trent Brown like cut block where he just drops down and tries to get the defender to trip over him, that never works for him. Never. So if I see that more than like twice in the game, Mac Jones will get sacked probably 4 times in this game, and penalties again. They haven't had many games with 4 or less penalties. Recently, it's been 6 or more. So, Patriots do win here. But now it's time for my 14th installment of my Harvey Hot Hand. So, let's get right into it. The first one, Eagles -7. Get the win at Giants. The Giants are in shambles right now. Saquon Barkley hasn't been as explosive as he's been most of the year. Jalen Hurts and that offense, and especially that Eagles defense, is really good. A.J. Brown is a perfect fit in this Eagles offense. Explosive, high-flying, deep balls. Jalen Hurts has flourished this year. They get the big win here. The big win, 11-point win. Eagles cover and win because they're playing against a crippling and falling off Giants team. Eagles win 35-24, cover the -7 spread. Next one. Ravens at Steelers. Steelers win and cover the -2 point spread. The Steelers defense is coming alive. TJ Watt, great acquisition. Minka Fitzpatrick, he's been good most of his career. Tyler Huntley's coming in. I don't think he's going to have they are very, very similar players, Tyler Huntley and Lamar Jackson, but he does not have that same magic as Lamar does. Early on, Lamar was the offense. Then it was the defense picking up a little bit, and the offense was falling off. And then the defense made a little bit more of a push, and then recently it's fallen back a little bit, but the offense has stayed pretty low and pretty low scoring. So I'm going to take the Steelers to win here. Kenny pick them apart, makes another appearance. They win 27-21. The next one, the Bucks at 49ers. 49ers win and cover. 49ers defense is really, really good. Like I've been saying, the Bucks offense has been really, really bad, except when it comes to the 2-minute drill. But you can't play the 2-minute drill the entire game, or else you'll gas your guys after the second attempt of it. So I do think the 49ers with Brock Purdy, low scoring, very, very low scoring, but Brock Purdy, and that I'm more so picking the 49ers defense over the Bucks entire team because that's the way they're going to win. 49ers get the win 20-13 and cover the -3.5 point spread. The next one, Bengals Browns, or as I call them, the Cleveland Clowns. They have Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson, I think, will still have rust to him. It's going to be bad. Bengals do get the win. Joe Burrow picks up his first win against these Cleveland Clowns. Bengals get the 31-24 win. Barely covered, but they do cover the 5.5 point spread. And I believe this is the last one. Boom. Chiefs at Broncos. Broncos cover. Chiefs do get the win. Broncos team does not get blown out most of the year. They've had 2 blowout victories, one that was a blowout, 13 points against the Panthers, and one that they kept relatively close with the Las Vegas Raiders. Otherwise, it's been 1-score games. They beat Jimmy G and that 49ers team. They beat them. It was 11-10. Very, very ugly game, but they did win. They kept games close. It's just the offense picking it up. The Broncos team is horrible when it comes to the offense. The defense is really, really good. So I think they'll be able to stop Patrick Mahomes most of the time. But I could, in the back of my head, I'm saying, oh, Travis Kelce's going to go for like 60 yards probably and have 3 touchdowns. That's what I'm thinking. They're going to drive all the way down, and it's going to be a little Travis Kelce just dink to get the touchdown. But I'm still thinking Broncos defense will come out. Broncos country will start to ride a little bit. But on the defensive side, the offense is still going to be bad. The Broncos cover the +9 spread, but the Chiefs still get the victory. That does wrap it up for me at the Harvey Hour here. My name is Nathan Harvey. Make sure you guys tune in on Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern to get the reaction of every single one of those games, probably Sunday and Monday. But yeah, we will see you 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on YouTube. My name's Nathan Harvey. You can catch me on social media at Nathan T. Harvey 1 on Twitter and at the Harvey Hour on TikTok, where you can see exclusive clips, reactions to games, and more exclusive content like that. So make sure you follow me on all social media. But for this episode, my name's Stephen Harvey. This has been the Harvey Hour. Like I said, Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, right here on YouTube.
Introducing video podcasts on Spotify
Transform your storytelling into a show everyone can watch
or listen to.
Easily upload your video through Anchor, Spotify's free podcast creation tool.
So whether you're showing off a new recipe,
Interviewing an exclusive guest,
or uncovering the next mystery,
you can now reach a whole new audience with Spotify.
podcasting just became more than audio.
Create with Anchor, watch on